Hi, you guys. It's the Concrete Rose, Sonny Kiss, and you're watching Women's Wrestling Talk.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
You are watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, and today we have an amazing show, a returning guest, AEW original, dancer, multifaceted queen, now Impact superstar, because I said it, superstar. Please welcome Sonny Kiss. How are you doing?
Well, let me just already start you off with, I am not signed to Impact Wrestling. Yeah, let me just give that disclaimer right now.
I know. Yeah, well, I mean, just look. This show has magical powers. And I know I read blogs, I read the articles. I know you're not officially signed to Impact, but I mean, they need to sign you. So I put it like that because that's what's gonna happen. So I mean, I get it, but Impact, hurry up and sign me, girl. But let's start with that. How are you doing?
Because I'm like, damn, we couldn't even get ready to the interview yet. We couldn't even start asking me how I'm doing. It's like, ooh, let me just tell everybody that's not true. That's not what it is right now.
Not yet.
Yes, but I'm open to what's for me, and I'm still a free agent. I am one talented son of so it's like I'm open to whoever wherever I'm supposed to be, I will be there. So let's just say.
And I mean, the talent part, oh my gosh, is insane. But let's take it all the way back before we reach to Impact, because I know a lot of people, including myself, lost their ish when we saw you on that screen. And so let's take it all the way back to a few short months, and actually prior to that. I remember when you signed on to AEW. It was a big thing because we had you on before you got signed to AEW. And I remember seeing you, and I pulled up that old interview because it's like, yo, the badonkadonk. Like, how do I go about getting such, accoutrement? But I mean, I remember that. And when you got signed, it was like, yeah, finally, like, where you're approaching the diversity and appreciating there's more than one type of wrestler. And it was great for a moment. And then there was a moment we just stopped seeing you. So let's go like all the way back there as far as like what was happening, if you can give that information, like what was happening backstage. Because I know if I'm hired to do a job, you're going to want to do the job. And so you can only sit and eat so much crafty, like the free food eventually is like, yo, I have money, like I could feed myself, like I want to wrestle. So what was that period like?
So let me just say this too. There was way more good times at AEW than there ever was bad. Like a lot of times you see what's happening in the media, and like that's like what everyone thinks that's always happening, and that's not true. Like there was a lot of great times. Like I still have great relationships with everyone in the company, and there was so much support. Like I want to say that too. Like a lot of people in the company would always like, message me and like ask me how I'm doing when I was like home and not at TV and stuff like that. So there was a lot of support from like my colleagues and everybody. So I want to say that first. Internally with my own self, going to TV and not wrestling, or just not being at TV at all. It was very unfortunate because I was working so hard. Like I really wanted to show how much I've improved since AEW has first started. Because, I mean, what wrestler does not have bad moments or bad matches on live television? It happens to everybody. So, throughout the years, obviously having Dustin Rhodes as, like, my trainer and my mentor, and being able to, like, work with him, like, one-on-one sometimes, and with all the women in the locker room, because he was the trainer for the women, I feel like I've progressed so much, and it was showing, like from the tag team with Joey to the feud with Joey to even like into the Trust Busters. Like there was so much more I could have given. There's so much more I could have gave the fans, and I just felt like that's the part that sucked the most, was that people would see like my last. People would see like my last match with AEW that was on TV, which was in 2020, and that would be their perception of who Sonny Kiss was.
Right. I was the what. So I love to give people like behind the scenes type things because people often just assume what happened. So I saw you in Chicago, and I think they had dropped the news as far as you being let go. I think like 24 or 48 hours prior to that. And first off, like kudos to you for just like showing up, because I would have been like, yeah, look, I don't care about this money. I ain't leaving my house. Like I need a moment. So respect, like just kudos to you for showing up, because I was emotional. I was trying to hold back my tears, and like I get it. Like I'm still like, even when thinking about it, I'm getting like I'm feeling emotional. So like much respect for you for showing up and being and I don't even know if the right word's professional, because like there's no good time to be let go. Like there's no like, well, you should do it on a Friday, or you should do this. Like there's none of that. So first off, they like much power to you. Like I mean, I guess just take us through that if you want to, because I'm also very much aware of like mental health, and I don't want you to go back to that place where you're like, I don't want to. So if you want, like, what happened?
That was a very emotional time, especially like, I mean, it still is to this day. Like, I still think about it, of course. Like, it still feels very fresh. But when that happened, and I was going to Chicago, and I did the Effie's Gay brunch, and all throughout all of that, it was very like, I felt like everybody was staring at me and like wondering how I was feeling, and I think they were trying to like pick my brain and see what was going on. Like, why was I no longer there? It was just a lot. It was super emotional for me. Much love to my manager and my friend Steve K, because he was basically kind of like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Like, he was very supportive, and he was very comforting, and I love and appreciate him so much. And yeah, it was great to receive the love from all my coworkers. From my former coworkers, and just kind of like have them say like, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna, like, I got tons of text messages and just so much love from lots of coworkers. Like, they were all like, you're gonna be amazing.
Yeah. It was
don't even worry about it, like, you're gonna be great.
Yeah. And I kind of I'm not a wrestler, but obviously but to me it seems like you don't even need to say former coworkers. Like it just seems like regardless of what promotion you're at, like there's it's almost like a fraternity of sorts, or a sorority fraternity, for like it doesn't matter where you rep, whether you're indie, WWE, whatever. It's like you're all coworkers, period, because there's certain stuff that you guys go through that nobody else, like, I can never like say, oh well, I fully understand. Like I can't. So yeah, there's that. The one of the questions I do have, and I don't know if AEW does this, but there are other promotions where you find out that you get let go, like on social, like, oh, no email, no text message, stuff like that. Was that the case for you, or did like you get a phone call, or like what transpired?
No, I got a phone call. Basically, it was, what you would imagine, like, hey, like, your contract's coming up, and we're not. Yeah.
So, did you get to see? And I don't know if you turned off the notifications, but did you get to see? So kind of going back to everything. Saw you in Chicago. We had a moment, and I was like, "Yo, like, there's no statement that was provided." I was able to ask Tony about it. Did you see his statement? What he said about everything that happened?
I did, and I want to say this too. I am so grateful for Tony Khan. Tony Khan has always been great to me in the sense of, first of all, he helped pay my bills during a global pandemic. There's so many great things about Tony Khan, and people expect me to say something negative about him, but no, he's given me my life. Like, he gave me stability in my life. Like I said, he helped pay my bills during a time where a lot of people were not things were so uncertain. So
Right.
yeah, no, I am forever grateful for Tony Khan, and I
Yeah.
always will. Yeah.
Yeah. No, his statement was very like it was very respectful, but it was like you can only say so much, right? And he addressed it. So what I do appreciate about him, he could have said we're not talking about that. We could have said a lot of different things, but in the times that I've gotten to ask him about things, he's answered the question. Sometimes a little bit too long, longer than usual. But it's better more than less.
Yeah.
So you know, so yeah, it's just so you saw the statement and you're just like, it's pretty standard, and it seemed like both parties were like, this is what it is. It's a comfortable situation, but here we are, and here's it.
I appreciated it, him saying that he still holds me in high regard, and yeah, like I really appreciated those words. Yeah.
So let's move on from that stuff because that's yesterday's news, and I appreciate you for answering those questions. But like not even a couple weeks later, you booked him busy. You were in House of Glory. So what was what happens? What's the moment? So like, did you take a week off, or you're like, nah? And like you told your manager, look, put me in everything. I'm ready to go. Like, how did that? What happened after that?
Whew. So I definitely wanted to keep working. I didn't want to stop because I felt like there's no time, there's no room for that. Because especially with being at AEW and not wrestling as much as I would have liked, um, I I wanted to continue to kind of like be creative, and I wanted to like just keep the ball rolling. I Yeah, so I just kind of like took whatever, was around. Like a lot of promotions reached out at the time too, and they were just like, yeah, like we're gonna, like that's all good. We're gonna work with you, and we're gonna, put you in some really fun, great matches. And I was all for it. So I definitely took whatever it was that came at me, like this promotion, that promotion, East Coast, West Coast, Canada. So it's like, yeah, I'm ready for it all still.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
a good thing too. Like even like like I said, I remember talking to you before you got signed to AEW, and like I was seeing you everywhere. And now you're on this platform where it's like everybody knows who you are, and it seems like booked and busy. Like people want to like work with you and all this other stuff, which is a great thing to see. The worst case scenario is like that happens and your phone's not ringing. Like
No, it's true. Yeah.
that's a
I
whole
was
different.
very blessed to being in touch with a lot of great promotions, and still some of the ones I was working with before I was even signed to AEW. I'm still like working with a lot,
Mhm.
and I train every week. That's another thing too. Like a lot of times when people don't see you, they assume that you're not doing anything, and that's not
Mhm.
very. That's not true. Even my social media, I'm a lot more reserved than I used to be. Like I'm a lot more laid back, and I'm not online as much as I used to be.
Mhm.
Because it's just a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Because even though like social media is our brand, I like to be real. I like to stay
Mhm.
me. Like a lot of social media is not very real.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, mental health. It's not the best for your mental health. So sometimes you gotta take a break. If you look at my last, recent set of posts, like they're all like 1 month apart or 10 days apart, or
Mhm.
I'm not on it nearly as much as I used to be.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it's kind of like um if you spend so much time on social media, then like what are you doing? I mean, I understand with some people that's how they make their money, but it's just kind of like it's you being a public personality. I could imagine the amount of DMs, the amount of this, and if you spent that amount of time responding to everybody and not really perfecting your craft, then it'd be a different outcome. So yeah, I could definitely respect that.
I'm
And
always
then,
in work. I'm always training. I am always grinding. Like I'm with the kids at my wrestling school. Like we train. We're always training. Like it's always something. There's always some work to be done. So, and I'm
mhm.
always doing it. So yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about like the kind of going behind the scenes. When you look at your body of work, um, what is it in your mind on the times that you train? It's like, oh, I want to work on this. Like, I guess like as far as a wrestler, like what do they go into the ring, or what do they go into training like thinking of? Like, oh, I have to work on this move or cardio, or what does that look like?
I will say too, a lot of times when you're training with people, everyone has their own individual thing that they kind of want to focus on. So you kind of dibble and dab in everything.
Mhm.
I personally like I'll work, especially depending on who I'm working that week or who I'm working with around that time. Like if I'm in a tag team, I'll work on a lot of tag stuff. If I'm wrestling someone, you know, who does like very fast paced style, I'll work on that. If I'm wrestling someone who's more technical, I'll focus on that. But everything is being done usually every week, regardless. So like footwork or conditioning, um, like some type of stunts, basing drills. We do a lot of basing drills at my school, and a lot of times I'm like helping to like coach the kids and help run the class as well. So yeah, I'm always dabbling in everything.
Definitely you are. So another dibbling dabbling. I saw you on the West Coast. Saw you in Cali for Ariane's promotion, Pound Town Wrestling.
Pound, just left town.
Man, y'all's match was crazy. And you know, it's just, you know, West Hollywood, and it's just a different type of promotion that I feel is going to be very successful. It's going to be its own lane. So like, you know, take me through that. Like, how did that all like happen? You know, did she contact you? Did you guys, you know, did you contact her? What transpired?
So Ariane and I are actually good friends. She messaged me a couple months ago. She was like, I have this idea. I want to do something that's like really fun, like luxury, something different, you know? And she was like, yeah, I want it to be like an indie promotion, but I want it to have storylines. I want it to be like, I want to bring back storytelling. That's what she said. She was like, I want it to be something that's fun, all inclusive, and just like something that, because today's wrestling is a lot different than it used to be back in the day. Like we're not seeing storylines as much. Like obviously you are in certain promotions, but it's different, you know, depending on where you are. But storylines aren't the hot thing anymore. It's based on, it's mostly wrestling. Like everybody wants to see the in-ring stuff. That's the most important thing. So she's like, yeah, I want to I want to combine that. I want to bring back the storytelling. So I was like, yeah, I'm down. I'm all for it, girl. And she was like, you know, listen, I want you to be in on it too. I want you to help, you know, discuss what we should do and how we should put it together. What kind of matches should we have? You know, she was like, listen, I want all of your input. She was like, yeah, like let me know what you're thinking. And we went through a couple of different ideas for matches. She didn't know if she wanted to wrestle or not, but we ended up making it where she did wrestle, and she got her bodyguard involved, and you know we all kind of wanted to make it a really really fun story.
Yeah,
it was awesome though. The whole experience was great. It was just tough too because I was obviously still dealing with everything, you know, the fallout of everything. But it was a really great escape for those couple of days, and yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, it was because what I really loved was, and kudos to Ariane, she didn't spill the tea on any of it, because I'm like, are you wrestling or not? And you know, she left it. And so I was there. I was fortunate enough to go there live, and then I saw, you couldn't really hear the interactions because it was just so loud, but I saw the video package, and I'm like, oh, she's about to wrestle. She's about to wrestle, but I didn't know for sure. And then when you guys both came out and she came out, I was like, this is amazing. This is definitely, this is great. So for you guys who have no idea what we're talking about, go check out Pound Town Wrestling. They have the pay-per-view, go and order it, all the things. But yeah, just great match. And this kind of leads me, before we get into, but kind of getting into Impact.
I know where you're going with this.
I know. Before we get into Impact, so you showed up at Bound for Glory, and we'll get into that part as well. But what I said after the fact was, this is amazing, because to me, you can do women's locker room, men's locker room, tag team. There's so many different avenues, which is.
I would 100% be a knockout though. Like it's obvious. Like.
Well, yes. No. Yes, I'm definitely on the knockout side of things, but you can go both. Like you can do both sides and have great matches with everybody. Not to say that the women don't. Jordan Grace is killing it. But
killing it. Giselle's killing the whole roster. First of all, they're girls, and Trin said it best too. Trin was like, "This is Impact has one of the best women's rosters like out there. Like that's just fact."
Yeah.
And all the girls can go, like intergender, you know, whatever, any type of style match, the girls can go on that roster. So I'm looking forward to like working with a lot of them.
Yeah, and that was like my excitement. I was like, anywhere, like definitely a knockout, because like, yo, clothing, all everything's on point. But it was just like, just it's rare, and I agree. And I think nobody can say different. The knockouts division is bar one. Storylines, diversity, all the things is there.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like the story. It's endless with you. So when they like, I mean, yes, they haven't signed you yet, but either way, you're part of the story of it all. So I'm like really really excited to that for that, which takes us to Bound for Glory and your appearance. I'm gonna say when I saw it, I was just like, I just saw her. She didn't say nothing to me. She didn't even hit. I'm just joking. Like you're both supposed to put me inside. Like, by the way, like no. But I'm so happy for you. So kind of take us back to that. And did you know when you were in LA that was gonna happen?
Yeah, I did. I'm bad with that. Bad with
Yeah.
that.
No, I'm so happy for you. And you know, how did that happen? Did they reach out, or like what transpired from that?
So Tommy Dreamer, good friend of mine, always loved him. He has been such a shining light in my life and in my career for a long time. Since way back when Sonny Kiss was first a thing, you know, since I first got in the Indies. So he's always been there in some kind of guidance, you know, like helping me out, giving me ideas, telling me, you know, to try certain things. And I did, oh my God, Bust It Open. Why could I remember that?
Okay.
Oh my God, that's so bad. So I did the podcast, and then Tommy was like, text me after this. And guess what I did? I texted him after that. And we talked about it, and he was like, the entire staff thinks you'll be great for the Call Your Shot. And I said, yes, sir. Sign me up for it. I would love that. And then it happened. And it was a wonderful experience. The Impact Locker Room is absolutely amazing. Great, really great place to work. I really enjoyed everyone there. So professional. Everyone was so kind and so sweet. It was a great locker room.
What was that moment like? Like, you've been doing the indies and all the things, but now you're here at Impact, and you know, so many, and this kind of goes back to the whole thing, not people being former coworkers. So many of the people that you've worked with, indies, you know, AEW, etc., are now there, and now you're standing backstage about to go out. You know, so what was that feel like before, like you actually walked out?
Electric. It could not. Oh my goodness. One thing about me is I get really, really nervous. And not nervous in the sense of like denying my ability, but like when it's go time, that feeling, that adrenaline, especially when you really, really, really love this business. Like that feeling is like no other. I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I get so nervous. And I was just like in my head, like, oof. Like, I hope that they pop like crazy, and this is like Sonny Kisses can hear, you know what I mean? Like, that was like, yeah, oh my God, what a moment. And like Johnny Bravo and Tommy, they're like right there behind the curtain with me. They're like, have fun, this is your moment, do your thing, like it's gonna be great. And they're counting me down, you know, like that's how they do it, they count you down before you walk out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is so nerve-wracking. But I walked out there and I was ready for it. It was great that I got to have the spots that I did, because Kyla and I worked with in AEW, obviously. Giselle is my girl. I freaking adore her. I worked her on the indies too before, so that was great that I got to have that moment with them. And then the moment with Bully Ray and, you know, with Cardona and Brian Myers, it was just a lot. It was really fun.
it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing to see. And I just it feels, obviously, like I'm not you, but it feels like just a short period of time. Like it's just kind of like, like it's just like, it was like an emotional roller coaster for me, because like, oh my god, no, oh my gosh, yes, House of Glory, oh my god, like it was just, this is
that sounds about accurate. A lot of the a lot of my post AW life has been that.
After Bound for Glory, I think somebody posted a picture of you and Trin having a match, which is going to happen eventually on TV. It's on Twitter, so it's just like, thanks, y'all, because that would have been one of my dream matches. I think that's a normal thing, and I don't expect you to talk about it because I want to leave that suspense for everybody, including myself. But having those matches with seeing you and Jordan Grace, like all those things wouldn't have necessarily happened if you were still there, right? So you had to kind of go through that in order to be where you are, and when you get signed to Impact and all this stuff. So it all happens for, and it's very cliche with that statement, it all happens for a reason. But it could have been far worse. It could have not been doing anything, and to be wanted is just, it's an amazing feeling for me to see for you, because you're talented. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Well, it's more about Impact and just seeing like everything. It's cliche to say everything happens for a reason, but I don't think we would get one. I don't think we would be able to fully appreciate, because I know we didn't see you on TV, people were asking, and I think because of how everything happened, and it wasn't like, again, nobody wants to get fired, nobody wants to lose their job. I don't think people generally want to let people go either. But I think it opened the way for all of this, and Impact and stuff like that. So just touching a little bit about Impact, I'm sure you're eventually going to be able to wrestle everybody. And like I said, we did see on Twitter that you and Trin are having a match, and I already know that match is going to be ridiculous. Or I should say redonkulous, because you two.
The comments on that were so funny. Like, because I mean, besides the physical appearance of both of us, we both have a lot of parallels as far as like our careers and how our lives were shaped up. Dance backgrounds and performing arts to being pro wrestlers, and the transition to that, and there's so many connections that we have, in a way where it's like her support with the LGBTQ community and so much to it. So it's like it's surreal, and like being when I was starting my wrestling career and like really thinking about it, they had just came on TV as Funkadactyls. So being able to like wrestle both of them in the same month, so iconic. And I really, really like look to them as like super women. Like they are amazing. And the fact that they were like, I consider them both friends now, is incredible.
Yeah, super, both of them just beyond nice. So again, I think you're gonna have a chance to wrestle everybody on the Impact roster. But like, who are if you were able to do the booking, who would be your like, okay, well, I'm gonna destroy this person, and then this person, and this person. Like who's on your like your current, I guess, more of a Masha Slamovich reference. Who's on your current kill list?
Honestly, I would love to team with Trin and become Knockouts tag champs.
Ooh, I like that.
I think that would be really fun. Like a really fun feud with Giselle and Jay Vidal and Savannah. That would be really, really fun. I think that would be incredible. I would love that.
I do. I definitely want to see that. Anybody else on the list?
Anybody else? Jordan Grace for sure. Definitely want to wrestle Josh Alexander eventually. That's a definite. Who else? A lot of people on their roster. Yeah. They're all so talented. Like everybody is so talented. Jody Threat is really, really fun. I love her so much, and I wrestled her on the Indies, so that'd be really fun as well. Jake something as well. Everybody, there's so many talented people on the roster.
And I don't think Mickie James is like officially on Impact, but her and Trin had a great match as well. Did you guys have a discussion about like, you know, that possibility?
You're saying me and Mickie?
Yeah.
Mickie is literally women's wrestling royalty. If she's wrestling royalty, a match with her would be, whew. We haven't discussed it though, but I would love that as well. Yeah,
that would be
that.
That would be amazing. I want to see.
And Gail. Oh my god, there's so many like great things to think about. Like, oh my god, imagine me and Gail. That'd be
yes. So I think it's a tough question because I feel like when everything happened, people who and we talked about this before we started filming, people who didn't understand, I don't know, and correct me what the right, I guess, terminology, or like people just didn't understand you and like everything that you embody. And there were a lot of comments where it's just like, well, of course she wouldn't make an AEW because people weren't watching. And I was like, well, that's not, there were matches that people were watching and, you know, all the things. So when people do say that or make reference to that, like what is your like thought process? And to, I guess, to clear up the question even more, it's just kind of like,
can you hold on 1 second? My cat is over here.
Oh yeah, no, bring the cat, bring the babies, bring all the things.
He likes to do very mischievous things. Say hi to TK really quick before you.
Oh my gosh.
This is Spice. Say hello.
Hi, Spice. Oh my gosh.
He's so ridiculous. Like, he's literally like, I should have named him Caffeine because he's always running around.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you were saying
just people not understanding, and it's kind of one of those things in today's society, and we talked about it before we got started. It's just like you could be empathetic, yes, but sometimes you just don't know. And of course I'm gonna there are people who don't know, and then the people who choose to be willfully ignorant. And so with that, it's just kind of, what do you say when people are like, oh, well, there's no space for Sonny because nobody's going to watch? Like when and if you've heard that, what comes to mind, or what do you have to say?
People don't realize that a lot of people don't really care about that stuff. Like, obviously you're going to have the audience, you know, on social media that's going to make accounts to purposely disparage people and to purposely try to hurt people. And I'm like, I'm not here for none of that. I've been there, done that. I've heard all that. So it's like, to me, like, I think that that's just gibberish. Like, it doesn't mean anything. And if you've watched, even within AEW, the crowd's reactions when I go out there, like, it's there. So that's what matters most. What matters is the live crowd. Like, I think viewership is up and down for any wrestling company, for any person. It doesn't matter if you're the biggest star in the world. Viewership goes up and down just because that's just how things fluctuate these days.
Right.
It's not because, oh, this person is not a draw. In wrestling, we learned that not that everyone could become a draw, because, you know, obviously everybody's, you know, got their own uniqueness going on, and some people are just naturally more charismatic than others, etc. Whatever, like whatever criteria you want to put to it. But you also have to take into account that the more and more you put a star out there, you know, and you expose their talents, and you expose them to I'm trying to put this in good terms. The more and more you put the battery in their back, the more that they're going to be. And so they're able to get better and better right before your eyes because you give them the chance to do so. So I think that's the same thing with me. I just needed someone to just say, hey, Sonny Kiss is a very unique character. We don't care about gender identities and all that other like extra stuff. We just care about the fact that Sonny Kiss is talented as fuck.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, let's focus on that. Let's build Sonny Kiss for who they are, for who she is. Like, let's focus on that. So that's once a person does that, like, the fucking sky's the limit for me.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of who's going to be willing to build and who's going to be willing to break barriers and show people that it's possible. And I'm not the only one, obviously. There's plenty of people like me that are doing amazing right now.
Yeah.
You know? So I think it's just with me being, I guess I say shouldn't like me because no one's like me. I'm just saying. But you know what I mean? In the,
but
in the community, in the space, the community space.
You know? And there isn't anybody like you. And I agree. Yes, yes, there's a lot of folks, but you stood out. And I mean, that's one of the reasons, like, Women's Wrestling Talk has been here for a while. And, there's a lot of wrestlers. There's a lot of wrestlers. I'm not saying, oh, well, we're not eventually going to interview them, but you stood out for a reason. And, it's the same thing with, I remember I was working with X-Pac and we were interviewing Shelton Benjamin, and he was talking about John Cena, like before the John Cena we know. And he was talking about how he would watch John Cena talk to himself in the mirror just to like work on his promos and stuff like that. Like, it's a different type of, not everybody could be LeBron. That's how I sum it up. Like, not everybody could be LeBron. Somebody has to be not the number 2 or the number 6 or whatever on the bench. If you don't know that basketball reference, I don't have another reference for you. But no, you are unique, you are special, and you are talented. And I also want to say, because I did say this when Ariane was on the show, I did mention that I got to touch your badunkadunk, and it is amazing. You are amazing. I want to thank you for that. I also preface that I also tell people, don't go up to Sonny and say, hey, TK was able to, can I? Like, don't do that. But I just wanted to say that I did, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's a work of art. So I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate you for allowing me to, like, in person.
Anytime. Consent, baby.
Yes, that part. Because I did say, it's so funny because Black people in their hair, and it's even now because some people assume, oh, well, I'm Black, you're Black, I can go touch your hair. It's like, no, I always, especially when I see the froze and stuff like that, I always like prefaces like, yo, your hair is amazing, can I touch it? Like, I get why people who are non-melanated want to, but they just can't. But I feel even if we are within the community, we should ask. So, I remember I had my finger out, like, can I? So I appreciate you for allowing me to doing that. But I don't want to take up too much of your time. But the last question I have is, what are your, we're ending 2023, entering the 2024. What are your goals for Sonny Kiss? Like, we're in, a lot has changed. And that's just life. That's for everybody. So what are your goals now? Do you have the vision board? Do you meditate? Do you write in the journal? What's the goals for you now?
I do have a vision board, actually. I just created that last week. I posted about it. And I don't think I want to share that. I think I want to kind of let people, see what they see. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things I want. There's a lot of things I will have, because I work for my shit. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you'll see. We're definitely going to be, the Sonny Kiss tour in 2024 is going to be lit. Let's just say that.
Nice. World travel, maybe?
Definitely world travel, honey.
But with that being said, how can people support you? One, I mean, if y'all not following Sonny, then I don't know what y'all doing, but how can people support you? Do you have merch? Do you have, I don't want to assume. I don't know if you have an OnlyFans account. Do you have an account, I should say, that somebody can follow?
Brand Army / Sonny Kiss XO. Come check out some exclusive content. Just kidding. Anyways. No, but definitely come check out my Brand Army. But also to come see me at shows. Tell these emotions that Sonny Kiss is ready to work, because she is. And let's get to work. Yeah, let's do it. Sonny Kiss XO on all social medias. So
Boom. But Hunter did say something at Pound Town Wrestling at the end of the event that like you're a trailblazer, which I think I agree with. You know, what do you think of that? Because you also made mention too when you're kind of crawling to make headway for yourself and others behind you. So what do you like, you know, when he said that, when Hunter said that, and like, and even in your experiences, like, what do you think of that? Like, you are a trailblazer.
It took me a long time to accept those terms of trailblazer, icon, revolutionary, like any whatever people are saying, and it took me a long time to just accept that because I'm 29 years old. You know, how like icon? Like I've been in the business for 10 years, but you know, 29 and being an icon, it's just like, oh, like, okay. But now, after seeing what I'm going through, seeing, like, you know, see, I don't want to say going through, seeing what, not, my journey, I'm putting that into perspective, my journey overall of being myself and being this unique individual. I I think that definitely you know, gives me the right to call myself an icon and a trailblazer because I'm the first of my kind, because I'm the first person that's doing it. So yeah, I accepted it as of a couple years ago, maybe. Yeah, I accepted it. It's
You have been authentically you since our very first interview, and like nothing is, you know, and I know people are like, don't take this, I'm not talking to you, just people who are watching this, like nothing has changed, like you haven't switched things up to placate to certain promotions or people or stuff like that. Like you have been who you are, and when I finally met you in person, like you, this the same person, and that I feel makes you even more unique, because you oftentimes see people not necessarily in character change and stuff like that, but just in general. It's like they get to a certain point and then they get to a certain promotion and all of a sudden they're like,
no,
like,
if anything, I've grown even more into myself and my iconic status. I've grown into that more and more.
yeah.
And if you look at my wrestling, my personality, that's something too. I always hate when people say, "Oh, Sonny Kiss's offense is so light." Like, what match did you watch from like 4 years ago that you're still thinking that I still wrestle like that? Because that's not a thing anymore. Like,
Right.
is this so like, and like, well, that's just wrestling fans too. Like, they always kind of like, some wrestling fans are weird because I feel like you hate the business more than like anybody else. Like, nobody hates wrestling more than wrestling fans. It's so weird to me. But you you watched the match from me 4 years ago, and all of a sudden you think that this is my entire life and my entire career. Like, every wrestler has an off day. Every wrestler does not wrestle top notch every single time. And even if they do, like, maybe like they're not as they're criticizing themselves and thinking that they're not, you know, on their game every day. It's a normal thing. Like, it's a normal thing. And I just hate that like someone will see a match from viewers and, you know, project that onto your entire career. Like, that's not a thing. Like, yes, I had some not so great moments. Yes, I wasn't on my A game, you know, this day, but I'm constantly working, and I'm always with the shits. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always ready for the next, you know, opportunity. So.
And that's the thing. I definitely agree with you, because people forget that everybody's human, wrestler or not, celebrity or not. Like, you know, not if you take that out of the celebrity and wrestling era, like if you're a mom or a parent, you're not gonna be the best parent every single day. Like show like
100%.
Yeah, like with Jesus, like that's not like everybody is human, and not everybody is going to show up to every day at 100%. You're going to have a moment where it's just like life happens, or you know, it's just that's just human nature. And I think the more we apply that to everybody and have some grace, like, you know, sometimes the attacks on social media, or sometimes the things that are being said, I'm just like, bro, like you gonna talk to somebody you know like that for real?
And it's like, bro, like you're at home going through your own issues. Like, you're just hiding behind a, you know,
Screen.
Exactly. When it's like, bro, like I don't think that you should even be putting your focus in this. I think you have a lot of issues going on in your own life that you should be focusing on.
Yeah.
Like we all going through some shit.
Your time. Give everybody another round as far as how they can support, where they can follow you, and after this, we done.
Okay, check me out on social media at Sonny Kiss XO on nearly every platform. Threads if you're using that, Instagram, Facebook. The very toxic ex.
That part.
And yeah, just come check me out.
I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is TK Trinidad. You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Definitely support www.talkpod.com. Follow us on all social media at www.talkpod. Thank you guys for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Till next time, guys. Ciao.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.